How's it going, everybody? My name is George, and all right, I'm gonna get right into it. Um, I want to thank my next door neighbor for helping me out a little bit, getting the idea of how to approach this topic. Thank you, Gentry. Um, so right now, I've been thinking a lot about how it is that a real impact can be made on society. Um, how can I really work towards creating that voice? And I realized that the big problem is that a lot of us don't know who we are. We don't have an identity. We're not individuals. We're grouped in and into demographics that you might as well just call stereotypes. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, and it upsets me because even though there's a lot of people out there, and granted, there might be people out there that are individuals and whatnot, but a lot of people out there, and I fell into the same group. Thought they were individuals, but in all reality, we're just going with the flow. We're just going with the flow. And up until recently, that's what I was doing. But I mean, you know what? I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm sitting here in front of this camera right now because I finally realized who I am. I finally realized what I'm going to pursue, which is right here. This. I'm going to provide people with a voice. I'm going to make people feel loud and proud. I mean, I am all about this. I mean, I am aware of what it's going to take, and that's why I'm taking the time to do this. I mean, I am not a I was clueless. I was clueless up until now about what I was going to do going forward. And now that it's obvious, now that it's there, I'm so fired up. I'm so ready. I mean, this is it. And and I mean, and the reason that it's like this now is because I was able to find myself. I was able to find my identity. I mean, you can think and you can think and think and think, but it doesn't make a difference unless you act on what you think. Now, I'm not saying, hey, if violence is your way, no, don't act on that. But if you have a legitimate idea, a legitimate purpose that you feel like you're like it's there, it's eating at you, and you just have to go after it. I mean, you got to make sure that you know who you are first. And I think that there's plenty of people that have great visions, great ideas, and whatnot, but it doesn't take you anywhere if you don't approach it as an individual. Um, if you look around you, you know, you notice that people attract like-minded people. Now, here's the thing about it. I mean, it's not completely unacceptable because you want people that you want to associate with people that have similarities to you, whatever the case may be. That's all well and good, but in the end, I mean, you still got to have people that have differences too, a difference of opinions. I mean, I think that just as much as like-minded people may attract one another, well, I think that the age-old phrase that opposites attract completely applies. Um, and I think that the more differences that we have, the more that we can actually come together as a result of those differences. I mean, shoot, we're right now we're in the process of trying to develop that whole big unity, and you know what? I'm gonna call it a cancer. You want to know what that cancer is? It's called political correctness. I can't stand the word. It's been nothing but a plague to society. You're taking away people's ability to think for themselves. How is that? How does that make sense? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. If any of you agree with political correctness, then I'm calling y'all out. Y'all are idiots. Because the fact of the matter is that political correctness is what's tearing the society apart today. The fact that the government or whoever it is that's doing this, that's trying to promote this mentality, is basically trying to manipulate people to think the same way, to agree with everything. I mean, last I checked, you know what? I was always taught, and I mean I could be wrong, but if a relationship with another individual is completely perfect, there's nothing wrong, then something is wrong. I think that you have to have a difference of opinion to make things stronger, to make a relationship stronger. And the same thing can apply to the masses. If you have free thinkers with millions of ideas, and I mean so many different avenues to take, I think that presents more of an opportunity for success than one group with one mindset and only one direction to go. Because I mean that's it's boring. That's what it is. They're trying to create a perfect society through political correctness. Guess what? Perfection is boring. You know what? I like working my way up to perfection and never getting there. I'd rather say that, you know what? I worked to get there, did whatever I could to make the impact that I'm trying to make. And even if I don't, even if I don't get there, I mean, I know in my heart that I'm trying and I'm doing it and I'm making whatever. I mean, even if it's like 50 people that watch my video on any given day, you know what? That's better than none. And to me, that's an accomplishment. I want to be able to say that, you know, at least one or two people that watch these videos look at themselves and realize that, you know, I'm not trying to insult anybody in a sense, but I am trying to bring reality into people's lives, you know. And the thing is that, you know, you can call it an insult, but the truth hurts sometimes, and that's what it is. And you know what? That is me. I am all about just putting it out there. And that is how I define myself as an individual. And to be honest with you, not enough people do it. You know, I mean, like I said, I, I hate it. Political correctness? You got to be kidding me. What good has that done? Huh? I mean, you try to appeal to the masses, and guess what? You know what? By trying to appeal to everyone, you have just created more problems. I mean, the beauty of this country was once the fact that you could think freely and do things on your own terms and not have to worry about the scrutiny that that would result of it. I mean, that's the reason why the Pilgrims and Puritans and whoever else left England to come to this to what it is now, to the United States. They came for religious freedom. They wanted to be able to think freely and not be scrutinized or persecuted for their beliefs because that wasn't what England was all about. They came here to this country, and it was a number of different religions. It wasn't just the Puritans or Pilgrims. I mean, you had Quakers, etc., etc. And what did they do? They agreed with one another that you are allowed to practice your faith, whatever it is, whether you're agnostic, you know, faithless, or I mean, not faithless, atheist, or anything in between. You are allowed to practice what you believe, and we will not get in the way of what you believe in. But do not try to enforce that belief on others. That was the agreement, and it stayed, and it made things great. That's why this country grew so quickly. Think about it. It took us only a few hundred years to go from being a baby in terms of countries to being a superpower. That's not a small feat. It's an amazing accomplishment, but the reason behind that accomplishment was because we were allowed to think freely. We were allowed to have differences. And even though we may not agree with each other on our beliefs or our differences, we still come together for that higher purpose, to improve ourselves as a country, not as an individual. You have to be an individual and appreciate other individuals. That's what brings us together. And we have lost that. We have lost that in a huge way. I mean, you know, when you start seeing, I mean, look, I'm seeing kids that it's like, well, I want this. Like my daughter just did it to me a couple of weeks back. She's like, oh, my next door neighbor has an iPhone, and I'm like, yeah, and well, she has an iPhone. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Dad, I want one. You're crazy. What, you want an iPhone just because she has one? Please. Look, I mean, the way one parent treats their child is not necessarily going to be the way the next parent treats their child. Look, I'm not against the neighbor's child having a phone, but I'm not giving a phone to my daughter. And that's my individual choice. I'm not going by, I'm not going by influence. I'm going by my own mind, my own choice, my own feeling. The point is that kids learn at an early age to want something because somebody else has it. Not because they want it for themselves, or they don't want to earn it. They just want it because somebody else has it. You know what that's called? It's called self-entitlement. You feel you should have something because somebody else has it. It's that right there is like political correctness, like in its purest form. You know, you feel like you deserve something, even though you didn't put the work in for it, but you feel like you deserve it just as much as the person that did work for it. That's not right. We've lost our identity. We've lost everything that this country stood for once upon a time. And through that political correctness, all we have done is create more division amongst society, amongst the masses. And if anything, it's it's division based on beliefs, on general beliefs. And that's why you see our country going in turmoil today. I mean, that's why you see Democrats hating Republicans. That's why you see Republicans hating Democrats. Everybody wants to point the finger. And it's all because of political correctness, and it's all because we have not maintained our identity. And we've lost it altogether, if you ask me. And the only way we're going to get it back is by finding ourselves and realizing what we are as a people and as an individual. I mean, you have to find out who you are first and foremost. I mean, find yourself. Once you find yourself, the rest is a cakewalk. I mean, and talk to everybody. And I mean, I challenge everyone to do this. Ask people, do you know who you are? Do you know what you're about? Do you know what you want to pursue in life? Ask them. And if they can't answer that question, then that means that they don't know who they are, period. And they need to hurry up and find themselves. Because if you don't find yourself, you never will, and you'll be miserable for the rest of your life. Because in order to achieve your goals, you need to know who you are, where you stand, what your objective is, and how you're going to get there. It's not an easy process, but the fact of the matter is that if you don't even worry about answering that first question, who are you? You are not going to fulfill anything for the rest of your life. You're never going to get anywhere. So identify yourself. Not to the masses, don't identify yourself as compared to other people. No. Look inside yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. And find out who you really are. Find out what you really want. And find out how you're going to go about getting there. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to still be in the same job. You're going to still be in the same house or the same relationship or the same anything. You're going to be in the same position, and you're not, and all you're going to do for the rest of your life is sit back and wonder, what if? Why, and you're going to be miserable because you didn't pursue anything. You're going to be miserable because you settled for what everybody thought was the way to go. Be an individual. Everybody needs to be an individual. Because through individuality comes unity. Trust me on this. You see what political correctness has done? And supposedly that whole idea was basically to get everybody on an even playing field. Hasn't worked. Individuality and free thinking is what brings everybody together. If you think I'm a liar, hey, Comment box is right there on the bottom. I'm waiting. Challenge me. That's about it, man. The next time I talk, probably be in a few days, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right. Y'all have a good one, and I'll be on here soon. Take it easy.